Hello, everyone. It's really wonderful to see you again. This is my first official video for the new year, and we're going to talk about Book of the Month and Aardvark today. So, my apologies. This is going to be a little later than what I usually do for Book of the Month and Aardvark. Normally, I try to film it on the 1st and get it out to you on whatever my next delivery date would be, on a Monday or Thursday. In this particular case, I was just unfortunately crazy busy doing things at the beginning of the month, so I had to put other videos in there, and this one just had to wait a little bit longer. But you're going to get it by Thursday the 8th, I think. And so it's not that far off. But unfortunately, there is one little thing that kind of got sold out on Aardvark. And we'll talk about that when we get to Aardvark. But what we're going to start with is we're going to start with Book of the Month's January selections. Okay, so Book of the Month has 6 regular selections, and then they have a bunch of add-ons, which we will go through. And of course, I'll let you know as I'm going through these which ones I decided to pick up. I actually think I had a full box of 5. So I actually grabbed quite a few of these. We'll see how this goes. So the first one we're going to look at, and I'm going to put the covers up on this side for you. First one is Lost Lambs by Madeline Cash. It is a contemporary fiction. And it says the quick take is 3 daughters navigate dating, adolescence, and their parents' dissolving marriage in this quirky, clever story. So what it says under good to know is it's multiple viewpoints, quirky, so obviously it's maybe got a bit of a comedic feel to it, family drama, and salacious. Why they chose it: this is a big-hearted original take on a dysfunctional family on a dysfunctional family drama with characters who prove that coming of age can happen at any age. The book expertly balances juicy, unpredictable plot with thought-provoking explorations of community, faith, and American adolescence. We couldn't stop chuckling while reading this book. Obviously a bit comedic. The voice is singular, and there's a running bit of wordplay that had our entire editorial team laughing out loud. So I think it sounds like a fun book, not one that I particularly picked up. It says for content warnings, this book contains mentions of suicidal ideation. So that is that one. Then the next one is Anatomy of an Alibi by Ashley Elston, and I did put this one in my box. This is a thriller, and she is a repeat author with Book of the Month. The first book was First Lie Wins. And you know, I have that in a tiny, tiny little paperback, and Book of the Month is offering the other book as well, which I think I'm going to add to my next box because I do want to have them both in the same format. So I think I will do that and then just sell off the paperback. Anyways, back onto this. The quick take: after 2 women swap identities, they find themselves caught in an even bigger crime, a murder case. So good to know is it's multiple viewpoints, non-linear timeline, slow build, whodunit, which I think sounds fantastic. Why they chose it: we never knew who to trust in this story. It's filled with deceitful characters and complex relationships that we wanted to learn more about. The book's multiple perspectives and timelines created an intricate reading experience that felt like completing a satisfying puzzle. The suspense in this thriller slowly builds, helping to create an eerie sense of atmospheric tension. So I loved the sound of that. And let's see, any content warnings? No, nothing for any content warnings on that one. So like I said, I did add that one to my box. Next one is Rings of Fate, which is a fantasy. This is a limited edition with sprayed edges. And this is by Melissa de la Cruz. And I did add this one to my box. A jaded barmaiden and a desperate prince embark on a high-stakes adventure, risking their hearts to save the realm. 400 plus pages, first in a series, multiple viewpoints, and salacious. Reading this book felt like revisiting a favorite fairy tale filled with adventure, yearning, and all kinds of magic. We were charmed by the novel's multifaceted heroine, who is as fierce a defender of her family and what's right as she is a hopeless romantic. The mythology in this novel is intricate and immersive, from ornate regal balls to barren desert climates. This spanning fantasy is world building at its finest. So I loved the sound of that. I thought it sounded great. And again, no content warnings on that one. The next one is The Future Saints by Ashley Winstead. This is an early release. I think she could also be a repeat author. I'm not really 100% sure on that. This is rated as contemporary fiction, which is one of the reasons I did not add this to my box. It's not usually my cup of tea. So it hits the bookstores on January 20th. So it is a bit of an early. The lead singer of an indie band must balance newfound fame and a budding romance while healing from a tragic loss. So it's good to know it's romance, drug and alcohol use, multiple viewpoints, and siblings. Why they chose it. We were moved by the messy, rewarding relationships at the heart of this novel, from complicated families and friendships to a sparkling, budding romance. The novel's poignant exploration of grief, baggage, and learning to heal again in the face of tragedy felt cathartic to read. With its immersive look into the music world, this book gives a behind-the-scenes glimpse into the struggle of balancing fame and authenticity. And then there are no content warnings. And so let me just explain why I personally would perhaps not grab something like this. This to me would be a 2 to 3 star read. Okay, and I'm basing that on her past book, which is This Book Will Bury Me. And I did read that, and I gave that 2 stars. And I found that extremely depressing to read. So I kind of felt this might be the same. And so I thought, you know what? Probably not a good idea to pick it up, because for me, it's like I want to read something that's going to be 3 stars and up. So that's kind of more what I'm looking for in my books. And there were a lot of great choices. So this wasn't one that I chose. Okay, next one is Most Eligible by Isabel Engel. And this is a romance, and it's a debut. And I thought this sounded really cute. It says, quick take. A journalist goes undercover on a reality dating show. Can she break a big story without breaking her heart? Now, did I get this one? Oh, you know what? I'm wondering if I did or not get this one. Let me just do a quick check. Yes, I did order this one. So there you go, right? Yeah. I wasn't really 100% sure if I did. Okay, so it says, this is good to know. It's female friendships, laugh out loud, salacious, second chance romance, which I love. This book felt like watching your favorite reality TV series, compulsively readable, indulgently gossipy, and certifiably binge-worthy. The chemistry between the undercover journalist and the country music star sizzles off the pages and had us rooting for their second chance romance. Found family friendships between contestants felt like refreshing reminders that connections can exist where we least expect them. So I just loved it. I loved the sound of it. I thought it sounded quirky and fun. All right, so that was why I grabbed it. And the last regular selection was Crooks by Gabrielle Tennant, and this is literary fiction, and this is also an early release, and this is what they consider to be highbrow. It's a quick take is 2 untethered teens try to grow up without growing apart while they dream of becoming professional rock climbers. Good to know is it's 400 plus pages, ornate, multiple viewpoints, coming of age, why they chose it. The book astutely brings its precocious teenage characters to life, featuring long conversations about their lives, dreams, and how they think about the world. This book immersed us in the world of rock climbing, its rugged, remote setting, amplified the recklessness and bravery of its characters. The writing in this novel is wholly original and intentionally stylized, combining literary and philosophical sensibilities that made for an erudite read. Content warning is the book there are mentions of sexual assault and domestic abuse. So, teenage story, that sort of thing. Did not include that one in my box. Okay, so now what we will do is we'll look at the extra selections that they have, and there are 4 of them. The first one is Skylark by Paula McLean, and this is historical fiction. And the quick take is it's poignant tale of bravery in the face of oppression, spanning centuries but connected by an underground city in Paris. And this is 400 plus pages, nonlinear timeline, multiple viewpoints, and war. So I'm assuming it's, yeah, it says there's multiple times. So 1664, 1939, which would be Second World War, I think. And yeah, so it talks about that sort of thing. Okay, so that's that one. The next one is Alice Feeney's My Husband's Wife. Now, I know quite a lot of people are looking for this. This is a thriller, and this is an early release that is coming out on the 20th of January, and it's about 2 women claim the same identity in this unpredictable thriller about obsession, deception, marriage, and revenge. It has multiple viewpoints, nonlinear timeline, a puzzle, and marriage issues. Now, I did include this in my box, but I gave Beautiful Ugly 2 stars. I didn't dislike Alice Feeney's writing. I didn't like the characters in that book. So I am kind of giving this one a second chance because I did like the sound of it. And again, I did like her writing. And so this sounds like I would like this book. So I am giving this a second chance. If I do not like this one, I will not read from Alice Feeney again. So that's kind of my general rule is, a 2-book rule. If after the second book I don't like, then I typically am not. This writer's not for me. So, but I expect it should be fine. Like I said, it was just the characters in Beautiful Ugly. I didn't like the characters, but like the story fine. I thought the story would have been great if I had liked the characters. And I did like the ending of the book. So anyways, go from there. Okay, so the next one so obviously I added that one to my box. Next one is The Odds of You by Kate Dramas, and this is a romance. And the quick take is when a best-selling author and an emerging actor keep crossing paths, they'll face the odds of falling in love together. So this is emotional, salacious, rural, and a writer's life. So she quits her job, becomes a writer. She's going to a Comic-Con. She meets this actor on the plane, and they think that she's his girlfriend. So it goes from there. And it sounds interesting, but I did not pick that one. And then the last extra add-on is The First Time I Saw Him from Laura Dave. And this is sort of a continuation story from the first book. Can't remember the name of it. It was The First Time something or other, and I do have that one, which is why I did add this one in. It's an exhilarating sequel about the power of forgiveness, renewed promises, and the risks we take to protect those we love. Multiple viewpoints, action-packed, non-linear, and the second in the series. And I'm not going to read any more of the synopsis because it might give it away, but this is, I believe, takes place 5 years after the events in the first book. So that is it for Book of the Month. I tried to I hope I didn't ramble through those too quickly for you. And now we're going to move on to the Aardvark Book Club selections for January. Okay, so let's talk about Aardvark. And Aardvark has technically 7 selections this month, but one of them is a special. So what is being offered is the member selection. So this is the book that everyone chose as their favorite book. I think I might have even voted for this one because it was one of my favorite books out of all the ones that I read that were Aardvark for last year. And that is Buffalo Hunter Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. So this is a special edition. It has a special cover, hardcover. Once you remove the jacket, it's printed on the outside and it looks very cool. And I did order that. And I also got my order in time to get the signed copies. A signed copy because it did sell out in like 2.5 hours after it launched at 8 o'clock in the morning on the 1st. So I did manage to get my order in, knew it was coming, and wanted a signed copy because I really, really enjoyed this book. I think I gave it 4.5 stars. It was not quite a 5-star to me, just simply because it took me a bit to kind of get used to the language that was used, and that's because it was spoken in the time of the early 1900s, late 1800s. So it kind of fit with it, but it took me a bit to get into the flow of it. But once I did, oh my gosh, loved the book so much. Anyway, so that one is still available, and it says this edition includes a 2-colored foiled hardcover under the dust jacket. And this is a diary written in 1912 by a Lutheran pastor, is discovered within a wall. What it unveils is a slow massacre chain of events that go back to 217 Blackfeet dead in the snow, told in a transcribed interviews by a Blackfeet named Goodstab, who shares the narrative of his peculiar life over a series of confessional visits. This is an American Indian revenge story written by one of the new masters of horror, Stephen Graham Jones. So that was their synopsis, and oh my gosh, yeah, loved it so much. So it was the 2025 Members' Choice winner, and I did vote for it. So okay, so then we have our 6 regular selections, and I did pick up 2 of these. So the first one, which is one that I did grab, is It Should Have Been You by Andrea Mara, and this is a thriller, 384 pages, and the synopsis says, a suburban neighborhood starts to spiral when one text message causes a nasty chain reaction with horrifying consequences. I do not want to read the rest because it is a dead giveaway on the contents of the book. And it's like, no, not going to do it, because even I read a little bit of it. I'm like, you know what? No, just first liked it, picked it up. So I did add that one to my book. And this is also an early release. They actually have a few early releases. So this is the first one. The next one is This House Will Feed by Maria Tarot. And this is a horror gothic historical fiction. Amidst the devastation of Ireland's Great Famine, a young woman is salvaged from certain death when offered a mysterious position at a remote manor house haunted by a strange power. And the horror of her own memories in this chillingly evocative historical novel, braided with gothic horror and supernatural suspense for readers of Catherine Arden's The Warm Hands of Ghosts and The Silent Factory of Bridget Collins. It takes place in 1848. So that's the timeline. I'm not going to read any more of the synopsis, but it says why they chose it. We love a rags to riches story, and Maggie's glow up is absolutely legendary. She goes from hopeless workhorse laborer to wealthy pseudo-aristocrat, largely due to the good fortune of being the right height for Lady Catherine's mysterious proposition. So I thought that sounded interesting. Content warning: genocide, child death, cannibalism. I know a lot of cannibalism ones they have. I think on the first one, were there any content warning? Violence against minors in the first book. It Should Have Been You by Andrea Mara. Okay, so the next one is This a Cry for Help? This is also an early release by Emily Austin. It is contemporary fiction, LGBTQIA, includes a cat, is 304 pages. Content warnings on this is abortion, mention of eating disorder. And it says, Emily Austin, the best-selling queen of darkly quirky and daring flawed heroines, returns with a luminous new novel following a librarian who comes back to work after a mental breakdown only to confront book banning crusaders in an empowering story of grief, love, and the power of libraries. So it sounds like very much a social justice sort of book, maybe. I did not include that one. Not typically my cup of tea. Anything that's like overly angsty and not a thriller or horror. I don't mind the angsty personalities in thrillers and horrors, but not in literary fiction, if that makes sense. So, yeah. Okay, next one is An Arcane Inheritance. This inheritance, oh my gosh, I can't speak English. An Arcane Inheritance by Camilla Cole, and it's a fantasy romance, so sounds good. 432 pages, so not overly long, and it says a modern day dark academia speculative fantasy with a romantic twist, perfect for fans of Babel and a deadly education. Warren University has stood amongst the Ivy elite for centuries, built on the bones and forbidden magic of its most prized BIPOC students, hiding the rot of a secret society that will do anything to keep their own powers burning bright, no matter who they must sacrifice along the way. That's all I'm going to say about that. And there is spice rating. It's 3 out of 5. Open door. So obviously very explicit sex, but I'm okay with that. I don't mind that. And I did include this one because I thought it sounded interesting. I also kind of like the idea that it is short. I don't know. It doesn't say anywhere. It does not say if it's the first one in the series, but could very well be. We shall see. Okay, the next one is The List of Suspicious Things by Jenny Godfrey. This is a debut novel. It's a mystery, historical fiction, and coming of age. So it is 416 pages, and it is set against the backdrop of Thatcher era UK political landscape. This is a moving coming of age mystery, a heartwarming tale of friendships and first loves that captures the essence of Yorkshire in the time of the Ripper murders. Oh, so it's quite a ways into historical fiction. And it's 12-year-old Miv is panicking. Life has been complicated since her mom got sick, and now her dad is talking about wanting to move their family away from the town Miv has lived in her whole life because of the murders. Young women are dying, everyone is afraid, and no one knows who the culprit might be. So that one sounds interesting. And then the very last one is Meet the Newmans by Jennifer Niven. And this is historical fiction, 400 pages. And it says, for 2 decades, Dell and Dinah Newman and their sons Guy and Shep have ruled television as America's favorite family. Millions of viewers tune in every week to watch them play flawless, black and white versions of themselves. But now it's 1964, and the Newmans' real idealized apple pie perfection suddenly feels woefully out of touch. Ratings are in the freefall, as are the Newmans themselves. Dell is keeping an explosive secret from his wife, and Dinah is slowly going numb. Literally. Steady, stable Guy is hiding the truth about his love life, and the charm luck of rock and roll idol Shep may have finally run out. So, definitely one of those sort of new, like family relationship type things, but I like the era of 1964. I was born in 1961, so of course it makes it a little bit interesting for me because, you know, I'm going to be 65 in 7 days from the date of this video. So, scary, right? Probably the only good side of that is that I get my old age security. Yeah, because there's not much other good size saying that I'm 65. Well, you're only as old as you think you are, and I still think I'm 30, so you know, it's all good, right? And that's it for Aardvark and Book of the Month. So, some great selections from both. Now, with Book of the Month, I did get one extra free book, and that was because it was my birthday. So, I thought that was really wonderful. Quite nice. Now, I do want to mention that I do have links for both below. Now, I'm not sponsored by either one of these two. I just do these videos because I think it's great for you to hear what they have available, and there might be something that you find interesting that maybe you don't pick up from Aardvark and Book of the Month, but that you might go and grab somewhere else. So, always like to make sure I go over all of the new selections because they are all new books that are coming out. Okay, so that's it for this video, and yeah, it's been really great being able to talk to you again in 2026. I've got some great stuff coming up, and I can't wait to share it all with you.